Hi, hello, hello. It's another Current virtual session. I'm Jill Riley, host of the Currents Morning Show, and I am very glad to be a part of another way that we're able to bring you some live music, to bring you some virtual sessions. And today I have Jack Garratt joining me for
Hi,
one of the current virtual sessions. Jack, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you very much. How are you?
I am doing well. I want to
Good.
talk about this green jumpsuit. Tell me all about it. I love it.
Where did I got this? I got this in a vintage store I think, in Manchester, in the UK, on a little tour that I was doing a couple of months ago before the world pressed pause. Yeah, it's one of my favourites. It's definitely a coverall that's supposed to be uh, for smaller people than I, but I'm wearing it as just like a unnecessarily elaborate onesie.
Maybe that's the direction that we'll go with fashion after this whole global
Yeah,
pandemic is
pajama
past.
chic. No, I like that. That's good.
Let's just
Yeah.
pajama chic. I love that. You heard it right
Yeah.
here. Well, Jack, before we talk about love, death, and dancing, we'll talk a little bit more, but I do want to get you playing some music. And before you do, I noticed that you have some friends and family here in the Twin Cities. What's that connection?
I do. My wife is from Minnesota, and
Okay.
I've spent a lot of time kind of darting in between the Twin Cities for that exact reason. So I actually it's very important that I do very quickly give a shout out to Emerson, who I know is watching or should be watching. And if I didn't say hi to her, she would hit me the next time that I saw her. She's a small little child and is very scary. So hi.
All right. Well, Jack, let's get you playing some music. Jack Garrett,
All right.
current virtual session. And I think you're going to start with a new song.
Yeah, I'm going to start with a new song, which is from Volume 2 of my album Love, Death and Dancing. It's called Better.
Excellent.
Oh, something's telling me to save myself. Something's telling me to hurt myself. Something's eating at me. And oh, something's telling me that to save myself, I might have to go and see it myself and join the reverie. Oh, if I can take something to make me feel better than I'm feeling now, and everything else will work itself out. Everything else will work itself out. Oh, if I can swallow something, people might like me better when I choke it down. And everything else will work itself out. Everything else will work itself. I'll sit back helplessly and watch the world descend into chaos curated by suited men, and they all look like me. And oh, something needs to start making sense. But in my dreams I see no evidence that this is happening. Oh, if I can take something to make me feel better than I'm feeling now, and everything else will work itself out. Everything else will work itself out. Oh, if I can swallow something and people might like me better when I choke it down, and everything else will work itself out. Everything else will work itself. everything else will work itself out. I don't care, I'll just keep my head buried under the ground and wait for everything to work out. Oh, if I can say something to make me feel better than I'm feeling now, everything else will work itself out. Everything else will work itself out. Oh, if I can swallow something, people might like me better when I choke it down. And everything else will work itself out. 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 Everything else will work it. Everything else will work it. Everything else will work it. Everything else will work itself out. Thanks.
Excellent, excellent. So that song is called Better. It's on the new record. And yeah, you know what? Let's get another song from you and then let's chat some more. So let's keep the music rolling for the people watching this virtual session. All right, Jack
Lovely.
here on The Current.
I'm gonna play an old song, or I'm gonna play a song that was on my first album. This song is called Weathered. When I grow old, I'll drink and smoke. Vacated when you've stayed till the second round. When I grow old, the sun will cope, shine on every youth stain, never settling down. And no wonder I keep you close. You're the water to quench my throat. And if I never let you go, will you keep me young? Keep me young. When I grow old, my weathered soul and memories reclusive. Will we dig them out? So keep me young and call my bluffs and help me when you say there's no room for doubt. Say I'm stronger and keep me close and be the water and test my cold. and say I'll never let you go. Will you keep me young? Keep me young. Oh, when my heart stops beating and my blood turns cold, and oh, when my heart stops beating and my breath won't flow, when my heart stops beating, when you go, I'll know I'm old. Oh, when my heart stops beating and my blood turns cold, and oh, when my heart stops beating and my breath won't flow, and oh, when my heart stops beating, when you go, oh no, when I go, I'll drink and smoke, but just as long as you stay, I found a way out. Thank you.
Right. Doing a virtual session, and this is just kind of the way of the world right now. And we've been so grateful for all the artists who are willing to do these for us. So we got something old, we got something new. Definitely, a nice change of pace already.
Yeah.
Starting with a lot of energy and then going to the guitar. Jack, where are you right now? Is this your home setup?
Yeah, I was going to ask physically or mentally where am I right now, because those are, I mean, opposite answers. Um,
Let's start
I right now
physically.
am in. Okay, good. I'm yeah, no, I'm in my home in London. Yeah, this is kind of it's sort of my home studio. It's the spare bedroom in a house that I rent. Um, but we've kind of made it to be more similar to the to my touring rig that I've been touring with over the last kind of couple of months before, like I said, the world press pause and we all had to stay inside for a bit. But yeah, this is
Mm.
usually where I am when I'm making and creating. We've been in here for about a year and a half, so I actually did a lot of the new record. I did it in here, a lot of like the post production for it, and uh, throwing more stuff at the wall that maybe didn't need to be there, but it stuck. So
Well, it's just been really interesting to, I guess, with the way of the world right now and how the music industry has come to a halt, but also the way that you still need to carry on and make music and do promotion for that new music just
yeah, yeah.
to get a glimpse into an artist's space. I mean, that's probably not something we would get to do unless we were doing these virtual interviews and sessions.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing to be doing anyway, regardless, simply because of the nature of why, I'm here, why I'm inside, and why we're all inside. Like that's obviously a
Mhm.
very like existential, threatening, intimidating thing to be feeling. But at the same time, there is a sense of normalcy that we all want to try and achieve. We all want to kind of continue as much as we can, or as much as some of us are able to with our daily lives. I'm very lucky that my work is still happening. Like like, doing these interviews and stuff like that, being able to talk to you, being able to play these songs, you're absolutely right. It's very much like it's promotion. That's what I'm doing. I've got a record coming out. I really want people to listen to it. I really want people to have the opportunity to hear it. Um, but at the same time, I'd be doing this anyway. I would always find a way to do this. I would always make sure that this is what I was doing because I don't know how to do anything else. Um, but there's a difference, I think, as well, in the sense that I could very have easily have sat here with a guitar on my lap and sung you a bunch of songs, but instead I like to make sure for me that I go the extra step necessary to make sure that anyone who witnesses my art in any way is witnessing the absolute best quality of music that they can. And that's kind of why all of these toys are around me. They're not just flashing lights. I promise they're all doing something.
Yeah, how much of that stuff is really plugged in? That's what I want to know.
Oh, none of it. It's just on routines of lights. It's blinking. That's all it is. It's distractions.
Well, we played your record Phase when it came out, and it's been a few
Yeah.
years. So, will you tell me about kind of what your vision was for the rollout of Love, Death, and Dancing?
Well, it's you're right. It has been a few years since I've kind of released an
Hmm.
album. It was almost like 4 years to the day when we announced that. Well, when I announced that Love, Death, and Dancing was coming out. Yeah, Phase came out February 18th, 2016, I think. Um, so it has been a long time, and a lot has happened in that time. A lot has gone on. A lot of I've gone through a lot of emotional strengthening. I think last time I would have been on the current. Last time I would have been talking to you guys would have been at a time when I was kind of sorry, excuse me. Would have been at a time when I was hiding. I think from myself a lot and hiding from um, a lot of struggles that needed a lot of my attention, but my attention was elsewhere. My attention was at my career, my job, my music, and the 4 years it's taken me to bring new music out, or at least announce new music. That time has been spent trying to get back in touch with myself in a way that I haven't been able to as a young man, and as just like a growing child into a young man. So when it came to releasing this album, and given what this album is about, the one thing that's been so important to me has been honesty. Honesty between me and the people listening, honesty between me and journalists, honesty between me and you. Just honesty. I don't want to ever feel like I'm hiding from anything. So this album is very much me bearing my heart as openly and as vulnerably as I can. And it's meant that this rollout that we're doing, because we're doing it in like 4 volumes and kind of offering little bite-sizable chunks of the album before the whole thing comes out in June. Um, the reason for that being is I really love this music. Like I love these songs, and I want people to have as much opportunity to really dive into the sonic scape of it, to really listen to the music, to really listen to the lyrics. To have the opportunity to do that. It's up to people who listen to the music. It's up to them to decide for themselves whether they want to spend the time with my songs. All I can do is offer them ample opportunity to really get lost in it. And again, the reason behind that is because of how much confidence I've come to have for this record and how much love I've come to have for it. And all of that love and confidence has come through severe self hatred and vulnerability and lack of confidence. That's the only way I was kind of able to find myself now in this position to be like, hey, you at home, this music is really good and I think you'll like it.
Well, Jack, I love that you use the word honesty. I was just having a conversation with some friends about that word just last night. And,
Oh,
you
nice.
know, we kind of landed on whether it's being living an honest life, an honest lifestyle,
Yeah.
or just being honest with oneself. And we just kind of landed on, honesty is really freeing. It's
Yeah.
very freeing. And do you think that that's where a lot of your confidence has come from?
Um, yeah, honesty. Honesty is incredibly freeing because what it removes is the veil of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like self-honesty, being honest with yourself, being able to call yourself out, being able to hold yourself accountable for your actions, not expecting people around you to do it, but instead doing it for yourself, is a very difficult thing to get right, because it can encourage what it does with me, which is self micromanagement.
Mm,
And like self-obsessed nitpicking. Um, but what it can achieve, which is what I've also found with it, is an acceptance of yourself. To find the beginning of my journey with honesty, if this is kind of what we're talking about, was in a moment when I was writing this record, when I really did come to understand and realize that I'll never be perfect, and that is not only fine but something worth celebrating. And I think there's this, and that all of my sadness and my depression and the negative emotions, quote negative emotions, that people will see me having, all of those things are still part of who I am. There's zero expectation societally, I think, for me to hide my happiness. There is a lot of pressure, especially on young men, to hide their emotions, the ones that aren't
mhm,
socially acceptable, to hide their sadness, to hide their discomfort, to hide their uh, emotions that can end up getting bottled up and can end up leading to anger, which is never something that's worth getting to. That's never an end goal for any emotional journey, I don't think. Um, and the thing that really made me understand how important self-honesty was that moment when I came to realize that, look, my sadness, this voice in my head that doesn't like me, that's been with me since I was maybe 12 or 13, this is a voice that's going to be with me maybe till the day that I die. I'm going to stop hiding from it. I'm going to stop trying to swat it away. I'm going to ask it what it wants from me. I'm going to invite it into my life, and I'm going to try and learn to live with it, because I might be able to learn from it. And I do that with my happiness, and I'm expected to do that with my happiness.
mm.
I think it's about time I started doing that with my sadness as well, because being sad is wonderful. It's a wonderfully cathartic and therapeutic thing to feel, to validate your emotion with sadness, to know that something has disappointed you or upset you. Um, to, 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 to feel sad is to know that you once had something great. And I think that's so beautiful. In the same way that, like with my music, I use silence as often as I use noise, because without the other wouldn't exist. And happiness and sadness exist in the exact same way. It's the reason why Inside Out is my favorite movie, because it so perfectly explains how important it is to encourage sadness, just as long as it doesn't take over your life. In the same way that
Mm.
happiness, I think, can also be as an obstructive and as a dangerous emotion. It's about balance, honesty, and balance. That's the Venn diagram of emotions, and somewhere in that mess, I want to be in the middle of it.
And aren't you glad that whatever work that you have done on yourself, that you have those tools and that you have these realizations to kind of live in the present and the time of a global pandemic and the uncertainty. I mean, it really helps to be in touch
Yeah.
with how you're feeling. And when things are sad, to say they're sad. And when they're happy, to say they're happy. And when we're scared, to say we're scared.
Yeah, and it helps as much as it also doesn't help, because to be in touch with your emotions often means that they're easily achievable, not achievable. They're easily brought up to the surface, and that can be very difficult. As someone who is, I hate calling myself this, because for some reason I refuse to be able to give myself a compliment. As someone who is creative, I hold my emotions at quite ready places, and that can often be dangerous, and it can often make me feel like out of control if I'm not in control of when I'm choosing to feel certain emotions when I'm writing songs, for example. And being in this situation, being self isolated, or at worst, being actually quarantined, as many people are at the moment. Even something as familial or as something as safe as your house can start to feel more like a furnace. And the hotter it gets, the more you start to move about, and the less in control you feel. Um, there is there is absolute power in being able to being able to call out yourself when you see that happening. Um, I do it a lot. I've started to really listen to my body and really listen to my mind when it's starting to behave in ways that I know are going to lead to things that I am not happy with, or behaviours I'm not proud of. Because that's the thing. I don't know, might sound like I know what I'm talking about. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. And my emotional journey is cyclical. The things that I've learned that have led me to where I am now are probably mistakes I'll still make in the future. But it's the openness of knowing that that's possible that I think makes it easier to put other things into perspective. Um, yeah, it's also difficult to say that this is something that everyone can achieve emotionally, because we're all different. And as I've said earlier, I'm very lucky in that I still have, right now in this particular situation, I still have my job, I have my family, I have a dog, I have a roof over my head. I'm incredibly privileged and very, very lucky to be where I am in a physical sense. And there are many people around the world who are just not in that position. And another thing, for example, is me being able to call out myself and other people like me who say things like, "We're all in this together," because I don't believe that we are. I don't think we're all in this together. I think there are very different levels, many different levels of suffering happening right now. And I think saying that we're all in this together doesn't unify us in the way that people who say it think it does. I think it does the opposite. I think it alienates those who are truly suffering from this, from what's currently going on. But the only thing I know that I can do, the only thing that I know might even possibly help someone somewhere, is making music, releasing music, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. This is not about me. This is so far from being about me. I just happen to have a microphone in front of me. That's kind of it. So I better use that microphone well.
Well, you're doing your part. And again, with the rolling out of new music leading up to Love, Death, and Dancing, I'm really happy that we were able to have this conversation, because I relate to a lot of what you're saying. And I think it's really useful at times to get into, I guess, a little bit of the headspace of where a musician is at when they're creating. I just think like your honesty in talking about where you've been at. Um, I think it'll just make your music more relatable when people hear it. So I appreciate that, Jack, a lot.
No, thank you very much. I mean, I think that's a really big, important part of this. On my first album, I was quite hesitant to explicitly talk about what the songs meant, because I thought I didn't want to influence people's listening. This time around, no, I'm not doing that. I'm telling everyone how I've been feeling, I'm telling everyone what I've been going through, because I've written this album for me. I've 100% written it for me. And I can say with confidence, I've satisfied 100% of my target audience, because it's me. But it means so much to know that other people are being inspired, or are being affected by the message of these songs, and that they're being able to relate to them so poignantly. Even though, like I said, I've written them purely for my own selfish therapeutic reasons. To know that other people are responding and resonating with them so vividly it's the whole reason why I love doing this. It's the whole reason I love writing songs. It's a way for me to communicate and connect with people who I have never met. And I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity to do it. So thank you for having me. I'm glad the music talks to you. That's really great.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's get one of those new songs to wrap up.
Yeah.
And Jack Garratt, best wishes, and hope to see you on the other. Excuse me. Hope to see you on the other side of this thing.
Yeah,
The record
absolutely.
"Love, Death, and Dancing." So let's hear the song "Time."
Let's do it. Why is it not enough to be fine? thinking in a rut and terrified of giving in to who you are and losing your mind. You wanna run till you run out of night. Oh, but why? When time is on your side, when time is on your side, now everything you think you know of your design is trembling at the edges. You're not alright. Afraid to look inside yourself, afraid you'll find that an hourglass is just a glass with sand inside. But time is on your side. 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 Oh, time is on your side. Time is on your side. Oh, time is on. Thank you.
Excellent. Jack, thank you so much for doing this virtual session. I did want to tell you that a lot of folks are watching this right now. I was just
Oh,
looking at some of
great.
the comments, and your mother in law, Teresa, commented,
Hey!
and your grandmother in law, Mary, also commented,
Yeah! Mary and Tess. Thank you
just
guys.
talking
Thanks for
about how
everyone who
proud
is
they are
watching.
of Yeah, talking about how proud they are of you and your music. I just thought that was so cool. And learning that you have such a connection to Minnesota. It's great. So take care,
Yeah.
Jack. All
You
right.
too. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for
much for
having
doing
me.
this.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.